The new M5 MacBook Pro has arrived, and if you're shopping for your next laptop, you might be wondering whether it's worth paying extra for the latest model, or if last year's M4 is still the smarter choice. In today's video, I'll break down all the key differences, and spoiler alert, you could end up saving a chunk of cash. Let's start with the design, because let's be honest, at first glance, nothing looks new. The M5 MacBook Pro keeps the exact same chassis Apple's been using since 2021. And honestly, I don't blame them. The design still looks and feels premium, solid aluminium, clean lines, no flex, and that familiar balance of power and portability that just works. You get the same 14.2-inch form factor, the same Magic Keyboard, and yes, the same big notch that people either forget even exists or love to hate. Personally, I'm in the forget it's there camp. It's not really an issue once you start using the laptop in my opinion. One minor physical change, the M5 model is fractionally heavier due to updated internals, but you'll never feel that difference in the hand. This is still a compact powerhouse you can easily throw in a backpack. The base model continues to come in space black and silver, but you know me, silver remains the classic Mac look. Before we go further, if you're enjoying this deep dive and want more honest Apple comparisons, make sure to subscribe and hit the new hype button. It's completely free and really helps a small channel grow, plus you'll get all the latest Apple updates straight to your feeds. Now in terms of ports, both models are identical. You've got 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, HDMI, an SD card slot, and of course MagSafe for charging. So if you're hoping the M5 might add something new here, no luck. The good news is that both can still drive multiple external displays, something that wasn't possible back on the M3 generation. However, there's a small regional twist worth knowing. In Europe, Apple no longer includes a charger in the box with the M5 MacBook Pro. Yes, you heard me right, the charger is now something Apple charges you for. Meanwhile, the M4 model still comes with one bundled in. So depending on where you live, that's another £60 or €60 you'll need to factor in. The M5 model's default is a 70W USB-C power adapter. Let's talk performance, because this is where the M5 really separates itself on paper. The new chip features a 10-core CPU, 10-core GPU, and 16-core neural engine just like the M4, but Apple's tuned the architecture to deliver serious performance gains. Apple claims the CPU is up to 15% faster, and the GPU up to 45% faster, with up to 60% higher frame rates in titles that use enhanced shaders and 3rd generation ray tracing. Each of the GPU cores now includes its own neural accelerator, allowing the M5 to reach over 4 times the peak GPU compute performance of the M4. That's an impressive number, especially when you remember this is still the base MacBook Pro. Memory bandwidth has also gone up from 120 gigs per second to 153 gigs per second, and while you rarely notice that in day-to-day activities, it does make a difference when you're working with large 8K projects or complex AI workloads. And Apple's using a new generation of SSDs this year as well, with read speeds up to 6.8 gigabits per second, roughly double what you see on the entry-level M4. But here's the thing, all those numbers sound amazing, but in everyday use, you probably won't notice much of a difference. Editing 4K video, browsing, exporting photos, the M4 still handles all of that effortlessly. The M5 will do it slightly faster, yes, but we're talking about seconds, not minutes. Unless you're regularly rendering complex 3D scenes or doing heavy GPU-based work, the jump from the M4 to the M5 just isn't life-changing. The fan rarely kicks in, the system never stutters, and it handles Final Cut, Canva, Safari, and all my usual workflow without breaking a sweat. The M5 is smoother under sustained workloads, but for 90% of people, the M4 is already complete overkill. Both models start with 16 gigs of unified memory, which I think is one of the best moves Apple made last year. You can spec both up to 32 gigs, but that's honestly unnecessary for most users. The bigger difference is in storage. The M5 can now be configured with up to 4 TB on Apple's website, whereas the M4 capped out 2 TB, so if you need tons of local storage, that's one small edge for the M5. And yes, both still support Apple Intelligence when it rolls out in full next year, so you're not missing out on any of the new AI features if you go with the M4. Now the display is identical between the two, same 14.2-inch Liquid Retina XDR mini LED panel, same 120Hz Pro Motion refresh rate, same insane 1600 nit peak HDR brightness. There's zero difference here. Both are among the best laptop screens in the world, full stop. If you do creative work, color grading, or even just binge a lot of Netflix, the display will spoil you. You can also spec both with the nano texture glass option if you want to reduce reflections, though that's a pricey add-on. Moving on to audio and camera, again, identical. Both feature the same 6-speaker system with force-cancelling woofers and spatial audio, which is honestly mind-blowing for such a compact machine. The 12-megapixel center stage webcam is also the same, decent though still no match for using your iPhone as a continuity camera. And the studio quality mics remain great for calls or podcasts. Keyboard, trackpad and overall feel, exactly the same story. Apple nailed this formula years ago, and I don't think anyone's complaining. Battery life too is about the same. The company claims the M5 can now deliver up to 24 hours of video playback, which is the same stat they shared for the M5. Both are absolute battery beasts, lasting me all day and well into the night, even with heavy editing workloads. Connectivity also remains unchanged. Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3 in both, no Wi-Fi 7 just yet, which is a little disappointing given that the iPhone 17 Pro supports it. So if the design, display ports, audio and battery are all essentially the same, and the performance increase is modest, what's actually different about the M5 MacBook Pro that justifies the upgrades? Well, apart from the faster GPU, you're also getting slightly quicker storage, improved efficiency under load, and higher peak GPU throughput thanks to the neural accelerator. That's great for professionals working in machine learning or gaming development, but for most consumers, those are nice to have upgrades, not must-have ones. The reality is that because Apple Silicon is already so good, incremental upgrades like this are starting to feel more like yearly tune-ups than major leaps. The M4 MacBook Pro was already one of the best laptops Apple ever made, and the M5, while technically superior, doesn't change the experience dramatically. Now let's talk about value, because this is where my conclusion becomes pretty clear. The M5 MacBook Air starts at £1,599 or dollars, just like the M4 did at launch. But here's the thing, you can now find the M4 MacBook Pro for less. Specifically on Apple's refurbished store, it's $1,269 or pounds with full warranty, and do remember that Apple refurbished products are basically like new. I've bought from Apple refurbished in the past, so I can undoubtedly recommend them. And also remember, you might be able to find even bigger discounts through third-party retailers clearing out stock. And given that these two machines are practically identical in every meaningful way, saving a few $100s or pounds makes a lot more sense. In fact, if you're in Europe, the M4 is an even better deal because it still ships with a charger in the box, while the M5 does not. Add that cost difference plus the current discounts, and you're saving a serious amount of money for a near identical experience. So here's the bottom line. If you're buying a MacBook Pro for the first time or upgrading from an older Intel Mac on an early M1 model, both the M4 and M5 are both huge leaps in performance. But between the two, for most people, the M4 MacBook Pro is the smarter choice. You get almost the same experience for less money. You're getting the same design, the same incredible display, the same battery life, and nearly the same performance for less money and with a charger included. The M5 is fast on paper, sure, but the improvements just aren't substantial enough to justify full price unless you really need that extra GPU power. And given how quickly Apple's own refurbished store has started discounting the M4, plus the inevitable third-party price drops, it's honestly the smarter, more economical choice. So unless you're a developer or someone pushing the GPU constantly, I'd say save your money and grab the M4 MacBook Pro while stocks last. The M5's nice, but the M4's a deal. I'll leave links to buy these Macs below. Anyway, that's my take, but what do you think? Are you tempted by the M5 speed bump, or are you sticking with the M4 for better value? Let me know your thoughts down below, and while you're there, make sure to subscribe and tap the hype button. It genuinely helps the channel reach more Apple fans like you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.